Hello and welcome to the OverShadow ShadowCast with your hosts Thomas Anderson and Abigail Mowat,
Hello.
who's also a tech wizard.
Hello. Hello.
She has summoned a deluge of rain to feed crops, which we will then not sell.
We were gonna do a Greek mythology segment this week, weren't we, or something?
Yes, we were, but we didn't.
No.
Because we forgot.
Yes.
These things happen when you get old, you know, your mind
I can still tell you the story of Narcissus. I think I know that one. To do with it.
Is that dog back again? Jeez.
Oh,
right, where were we?
Narcissus the flower. I believe so. I think it also moves into the story of Echo.
As you may have heard, ladies and gentlemen, and other people who don't really want to hear these Greek myth stories right now.
I enjoy them.
Yeah, so do I, but I just don't want to hear them right now. Because that dog might start barking again.
Yes, there was a dog barking earlier.
The rain has joineth us on this fine
Scottish morning.
And so that's lovely. I don't really know what else to say. We can't
At least
stop
it's not snowing.
It was earlier on.
No, sleet.
But we can't stop the rain nor make it any less rainy or noisy. So we shall continue on regardless. And if you can't hear us, then just know that we did carry on. And that the mumbling you're hearing is words if we subtract... Oh my god, the dog is back.
The dog came back.
So we have rain and a dog going mental.
It barks, it's not exactly going crazy.
Excuse me. It's going again, see? It's out of control. That animal should be destroyed.
Don't say that.
If you started barking at me, I would say the same about you. I'm being perfectly reasonable.
I'm not going to bark.
Now, and the eagle-eared viewers will have noticed that I was barking at the start, and for some reason I don't get destroyed, but that's just because I'm special. I don't think anybody can disagree with that. Am I or am I
Trying to
not?
decide if it's a good or bad special.
But we know I am special. That's what my mummy said.
Can we move on to Halo?
I'm special.
We move on to Halo.
Yes, so what have you been playing? I take it was Halo that you were playing.
We have been playing Halo Legendary Co-op.
Yes, we've
The
continued the playlist. We've done another...
Couple missions.
2, so it'll take us...
Excuse me, what does a couple mean?
2.
And why did you feel the need to correct me?
I didn't correct you. I agreed with you.
Sounded like you were correct. I'm so used to you just correcting me with everything.
Well, I just had to I had to correct you when you said that I corrected you because I didn't correct you, so I then had to correct you. So you were prophetic, if originally incorrect. So there's 10 missions.
Sad.
There's 10 missions in total, so it'll take us 5 plays at the way we're going, and I think that the longest mission in the game, if memory serves, or at least how long it used to take me, is the one we've got next. So I can see it being 2 missions a day. I don't think we should do any more than that, to be honest, otherwise this little section of our podcast will go the way of the dodo.
What do you mean 2 a day? How can we I don't even have time to do 2 a day.
No, 2 on a day when we're playing, which is once a week where we do this.
Yes.
And then play Star Trek or whatever.
Whatever the weather.
So we did missions 3 and 4. So
Yes,
we're
we
not
did.
going to say what we were trying to do in those missions, because we're not going to give away...
We're trying to fight the Covenant.
Right, that's it. We're not going to give away what was actually involved in the missions from a...
Fighting the Covenant.
From a sort of mission objective point of view, but we'll have a rough conversation about what. So how are you feeling about it?
Well, I don't know what the heck was happening last time we played because my connection just keep bugging out.
Yeah, I've had a lot worse than that connection issue, but it was definitely there.
Yeah, I have no idea what was happening because first of all I had this horrible feeling, oh my god, is my controller. My controller's died after like 3 months. I'm gonna have to buy a new one. And then we had to do this entire thing where I was going, right, Tommy, just watch. And he was like, no, just watch. Right, I'm going to say shoot, I'm going to press it at the same time, you tell me how long it takes. And to me, it was like there was a second delay, but to you, it was like I said shoot after I actually shot.
Yeah, it was the same. We checked it with me, and it was the same result with me. So the lag was tiny, intermittent, but it seemed to be having an intermittent effect on your ability to shoot the fire the sniper rifle, because remember we checked that you were out of a fight you were hitting the target fine.
Yeah.
But one or two fights, you would fire a sniper shot, and because of the trail left by the bullets, you can see which way they went, and it would just ping off the ceiling. It would just go basically up at a 45-degree angle and hit the ceiling rather than down.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on with that.
That was weird. I don't even think that's. I think it was probably a connection issue, but it's not. That's not a lag issue, because it wouldn't ping your. Do you know what it might have been?
What?
I don't think this happens, but if it does, it might explain it. If you pull the sniper rifle, I don't think there's much recoil because he's a super soldier, right?
Yes.
But if there was recoil and the bullet came out as the gun was recoiling, it would tip it up.
Yeah, it probably would, but I never had that problem when I was playing single player. Yeah, but I don't think that, I honestly don't know if that could be the case, because I never had that problem on single player.
I've never had it either.
I think maybe next time we play it, just monitor.
Well, I've only once had any issues when I played it with James a wee while ago.
I could have just been panicking because of the connection issue, and I was possibly just not shooting properly.
When you were in a fight?
Yeah, I think that's probably what it was.
Yeah, that's what I would go with.
Because what happened is that as we were starting to play, I didn't realise somebody was making dinner, and my dinner was ready, so I had to go eat it. So you had to go and basically do the entire start of that mission up until the point where you're like on the gravity pad.
Do you know what? It was properly childish, because you basically got called in for your tea, and I had to play outside on my own while waiting for you to come back, you know? It was really, really childish. It was like I was like 10 again or something. And that's, yeah, so it wasn't. You've tried. I mean, normally I'm okay with people bigging me up, but you did try to say that I'd had to basically do the mission myself when I really didn't.
Well, you kind of did, because for some reason all the Marines stuck with me.
Yeah, but I didn't do the whole mission. I literally just did the bit up to the grav elevator, which is like 3 little fights. I mean, they're hard. 1, 2, 3.
And that's
4,
when I thought that there was
4.
something wrong with my shooting.
Yeah, and during a gunfight, you ran up to me and said, "Right, watch this. Now, tell me if I'm shooting, right? Tell me when I'm melee attacking." And I said, no, look behind you. She turned around, and there's like a wave of Covenant 2 feet from her face. Ah!
And then I died, and then when I was brought back, my sniper rifle disappeared. Like, we looked for it for like 3 minutes, or at least 3 or 4 minutes.
Probably 5 to 10, to be honest. Cause,
yeah, and it just disappeared.
Yeah, I actually let you look for it while I did some of the fighting.
Yeah.
And it was the 2 hunters, I just melee attacked them to death while you looked for your sniper.
I was very sad at the fact that I couldn't find it. But then you gave me yours.
So I gave
felt
you
bad.
yours because I felt you needed to practice, because you don't use Covenant weapons at all.
I don't like them.
That's not really a sustainable position, to be honest, but
It is for me.
it is for you.
I won the game that way.
Yeah, but not on Legendary. So I picked up a plasma pistol, and it gave us an advantage because when the invisible sword-wielding elites appeared in the next area, I was able to take their shields off.
I felt like this playthrough with you was very stressful.
Yeah, but that made it much easier because the Marines were actually useful when those guys have their shields down, because they can actually take things down with the shields down, so it was...
I didn't find it being stressful useful. I found stressful... I don't like stress.
No, I wasn't saying the stress was useful, I was trying to say the gun was useful.
Alright.
Because that took me and James about 20 minutes to get past, because we were only with assault rifles and snipers, and you can't really use the sniper in that scenario. When I played it by myself, it took like an hour to get past that part, because it's... If you're just using an assault rifle, it's near impossible.
Right. I didn't do it on Legendary by myself, but I did it... I think I did it on normal though, didn't I?
You did it on normal, you've not gone back to do it on heroic.
No.
So that was the most difficult. And you did run with because we knew I had the plasma pistol. I said, "Tell me when you see the elite, and I'll take its shield off. Don't bother with it until I've taken its shield off, because it's just a waste of ammo." So you said, "Right, excellent." And then you saw one running at you, and you just went, "Ah, sorry guy!" Absolutely bricked it. You were
What was that part where I I thought I was running into battle, but you thought I was just running away?
Oh yeah, it's the very, very end where you come through a door into the hangar bay on the top level, and you press a button to finish the mission, but you didn't see the gigantic console.
Yeah.
So you ran right past it to chase this wee grunt down the corridor, and you thought you were running in the way you needed to go. And then I was standing next to it, and it was so weird. I was standing next to it, I was just sort of like looking to the right, then looking down the corridor at you, and then looking to the right, and then looked and said, "Abigail, it's right here." And he said, "I never saw it." He's like, "There's a gigantic orange arrow pointing at it."
To be fair, can I tell you a secret? I couldn't find it the first time I played it. I didn't realise it was there. I ran past it about 3 or 4 times.
I'm going to assume you eventually pressed the button. The game didn't just end the mission out of pity.
No.
The first game's pretty good for that. If you don't know where you're going at certain points, Cortana eventually takes pity on you and puts up a nav marker.
Thank you, Cortana.
But in this case, the nav marker was always there.
You were impressed at one point because you said, right, you need to stay here to shoot the Covenant when they come past. It's like, okay. And then I did it all. And then you came up to me and go, who are all these guys? I was like, oh, I took them out. And you're like, how? It's like, they came out the door. It's like, which door? And you were like running around trying to figure out. I was like, this door, right next to me. Like, oh, well done.
Do you remember when I tried to tell you you need to hide in that little alcove because it's a good vantage, and you got confused and ran into the door they were going to come out of? And if I had left you there, you'd have got absolutely creamed, because they would have just spawned right next to you. You'd have been surrounded by guys just going pew 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 pew.
I think the fact that the levels kind of like started off not great because I had to go away, and then I thought there was something that was lagging whenever we were doing anything. I think that sort of kind of like spoiled the entire thing a little bit, because I felt like I was on edge a lot.
For you, maybe. I quite enjoyed that mission.
It didn't sound like it.
But then
Yet again, I'm in the wrong because somebody's attitude was not great. Somebody's tone was not great, sorry.
Well, I get frustrated with the game on Legendary every now and again, and you mistook it for being frustrated with you.
I really wish you could hear how he was talking on this game.
Right, no, sometimes I am frustrated with you, but most of the time I'm frustrated with the game, and I'm just frustrated.
You lie. You lie.
No, I'm admitting it. I was frustrated at you at points. Especially when you had the sniper rifle and I was the one left taking out the Marines on the top floor.
Because I kept saying to you, I don't have a clear shot. I don't have a clear shot. Take them out. I don't have a clear shot.
I wasn't taking out Marines, by the way. I was taking out the elites and the grunts, and I was taking out the Covenant. All I had was a plasma pistol to take them out, and you had a sniper. I don't have a clear shot. Well, how am I hitting them with this tiny wee pea shooter? Literally, it fires green peas at them. Tiny wee green balls, and I was hitting them.
I think I said it was. I was on edge.
I think you were just on edge. But things improved when we went to the next mission.
Yes.
And they improved in a rather hilarious way. So we both got into a warthog each, loaded up with Marines, and then went to go and do the fighting. We lost those Marines very quickly. Had to combine our forces into one vehicle. Yeah, there was one point, do you remember when I was driving us somewhere and you were looking away, and then I parked the car next to some enemies for you to shoot at them, and just you did nothing because you weren't paying attention, and I just because I decided that when playing co-op you should practice your shooting because it's the only chance you'll get, and if you want to practice your driving you can just pop back into a mission and drive around.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Your shooting was way better this time.
Yeah, because you weren't. I was able. You were standing still. You're stopping the
I couldn't
warthog.
stay still against the Banshees. They were firing like the Covenant version of a rocket.
Yeah, but my brain can't actually handle like me moving, the car moving, and trying to judge where that is.
But would you like to tell the boys and girls what weird, strange thing happened to us? Well, we had to spend 10 minutes doing a grenade jump to get you a skull you didn't have, but what
That
about
was
after
fun.
that? What happened after? Oh, no, and then I said to you, kill yourself so you don't lose your pistol.
I tried to blow myself up with grenades and it didn't work.
Yeah, you somehow missed yourself with 4 grenades.
They were actually under me, but I think it's because I had that shield thing on.
It doesn't matter, it should have taken you 2 at most. You had, or maybe 3, but you had 4. So
We found out that if we decided to off ourselves at the specific part where we were trying to get the skull, we kept falling down the shaft, but there's like sticky outy bits in the shaft, and we kept landing on them.
Yeah, and you could survive if you
And then you
landed
just
on
kept
something.
going further down.
So we were running around in circles on this thing that you're not supposed to really be on
Yeah.
because of co-op. And then I got to where we needed to go to get you the skull with a grenade jump, but you couldn't. So I said, right, just kill yourself. You'll spawn right next to me, and you failed to kill yourself, so I had to shoot you. But what was the funnest part? Let's tell the boys and girls at home what the funnest, weirdest bit was.
There was 2 funnest, weirdest bits for me.
Uh-huh.
One was where I ended up dying half on a ledge,
Yeah.
and I basically died in the dabbing position.
Yeah, your feet were on the ledge and the rest of your body was just poked straight out. And you were just, your character's head looked like it was about to come off, but the arms were out in a dab position. It was so strange.
That made you so happy.
I've got quite a few pictures of the aforementioned, the dab. But what was, let's say, that was strange. I can't believe I'm saying this, but there was something even stranger than you looking at your own corpse in a floating dab position.
Well, you decided to drive out onto a tree branch that wasn't there. It was like 2 feet above the actual tree branch, and we were kind of just like hovering about in midair.
Yeah, I tried to jump us off of the cliff we were on, rather than drive us all the way back around.
I seriously hope that's the what part you're talking about, because I can't think of anything else that funny.
And then I landed on a tree. Now that's ridiculous as it is, because that car must weigh tons. And I've landed on a tree which seems to have no leaves. And then I've been floating on top of the tree about a foot above it. So you were trying to shoot the Covenant with the turret on the back of the Warthog.
Yeah.
And I just got out and ran around. And I got killed at one point.
Yeah, I kept accidentally shooting you.
Yeah, and then I respawned right next to you and looked at my own body and all my weapons floating about a foot off the tree. But to be all intents and purposes, we were just like levitating. Not even, because even if we had technically been on the tree, there's no way that tree should have held us. So I've got lots of pictures of us just floating on a combat tree. It's like that's the vehicle we were garrisoned in a combat tree. It's just, I've played that game so many times and I never realised you could park the Warthog on top of that tree.
But now we know. And now all you know. Except you don't know where the tree is.
They figured it out. It's where, it's the part of the mission where you're not supposed to be able to take your Warthog, but I did anyway.
Oh my god, it was just, that was so annoying, just constantly driving around in that Warthog.
Why? I love the Warthog.
Yeah, but you didn't need to be in it, and it was such a struggle to try and get it to the point where you wanted it to be there.
But it made it way easier.
I don't think so. I thought it made it a lot harder.
No, you got there in the end. When it came.
Trying to shoot 2 hunters in the Warthog is so annoying, especially if you're going in a circle continuously.
Yeah, your shooting in the Warthog's pretty bad. You know, I think if I'd been playing with anybody else, that would have been.
Thank you.
I was driving around in a completely replicated circle every time we went round, and it still took like 5 minutes. I think I had to run them both over.
Yeah, because they move. It's not like they're in a stationary position. They move about.
Yeah, but
And trying to anticipate where they're going to be, trying to shoot them, and also be continuously going in a circle is very difficult. Don't make that face at me. Do not make that face at me. I'll walk out. I'll take all my equipment and I'll walk out.
you'll walk out.
Well, I don't know why I said it like I don't know why I said it like that, but I'll walk out.
I think that it is a part of your game that could use work.
Meaning, he's going to make me do it every single time we play it.
I'm going to make you be the gunner if we've got a warthog.
Basic, that's what I just said.
Yeah.
Right, shall we move on? Because I think that's all we really have to say for that. I've had enough of talking about Halo. Let's talk about something else.
Okay, let's talk about gameplay. Now, again, we don't own this game. We just pick a video that we watch to talk about the gameplay that we see.
Tommy picks a video.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets annoyed at the fact that I don't have time to watch it most weeks.
No, last week I just made a decision that we weren't going to talk about it if you hadn't seen that video. Now, we were originally going to talk about it because the console version of Stellaris was on the way. But luckily for us, a couple of days before we were recording this, the people we were going to watch did another video looking specifically at the Stellaris console version.
Yeah.
So we were able to watch it now to talk about Stellaris. Now, what is Stellaris, dearest Abigail? Excuse me. And you're threatening to walk out after behaviour like that?
I'm not used to you saying nice things to me.
Right
Call me
then,
nice things.
you fool nugget. What was happening?
It's kind of like I was about to say, it's kind of space exploration / space conquest type of game. As a general game, I don't actually know what genre would you call it then?
It's definitely strategy.
Strategy, yeah.
It's in space. It's similar to a 4X title, but it's not a tile-based thing. It's sort of you know, it reminds me of, it's sort of like it's a space civilizations game similar to Galactic Civilizations.
Right. So the console game only came out, a few days ago.
Mm-hmm, maybe a week.
But it's technically an older version of the actual game, because the PC game is, what is it, like version 2, 2.2 or something like that?
It's
2.0.
2.1, 2.2, something like that.
Yeah. But they have since announced that they are going to be releasing mods for the console.
Mm. So the version at the minute for the console is like the base version as it was for the PC 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Right. Yeah, that was something that you mentioned, mods there.
Yes.
That's something I wanted to talk to you about, but we'll talk about the actual game first and then come back to it.
Okay, so the idea is that you select your own empire, and each empire, again, it's kind of like if you're choosing character traits, they all have pros and cons.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not that you can kind of like be set with one kind of empire. You can change the race of them and all this kind of stuff. It's quite extensive, the kind of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Customization.
Yeah, customization of it.
It's also, you can go things other than an empire, can't you? Or did you mean faction when you said empire?
Maybe I meant faction.
Faction, okay, cool. So you can be an empire, you can be a representative democracy, you can be a dictatorship, you can be a hegemony, you can be all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, because there's 3 types of victory in this game, but there's no like outright, this is the definite way to win. There's 3 different types.
Mm-hmm.
There's domination, which is where you control 40% of the you rule 40% of the inhabitable worlds. That was a big word for me.
Inhabitable.
Yeah. Habitable. Sugar. Why did I write inhab?
No, inhabitable. Inhabitable means you can inhabit it. Inhospitable means you can't.
I thought I was getting confused with habit.
Okay, so you have to control 40% of the habitatable words. No, you were bang on first time.
You looked at me like I said the wrong word,
Nope.
and I got scared and
You were
anxious.
absolutely, you're
Stop
right on the
doing
money.
that.
Right, I'm going back to the dabbing corpse at this rate.
So there's also conquest, in which you basically subjugate everybody.
So subjugate by, I believe there is a way in which you can fold other species into your empire.
Yes.
And so is that what that means? All species are under your banner?
Yes.
Right.
And then there's Federation, which is where you create a fleet and you control 60% of the
I don't think
habitable
that's a
world.
fleet. I think that's like a...
They said fleet.
Well, it will have a fleet, but it's a federation is like the UFP from Star Trek. You get 60% of the inhabitable worlds in your federation, and you win.
Okay, well that's what that is.
Mm-hmm. But you've obviously got a combined fleet because you're all allied, like NATO.
But anyway, you start in your own star system.
Now, can I ask a quick question here?
Yes.
The map.
What about the map?
Well, you said you start in your own star system, so if you can choose between the factions... So basically, the faction concept in the game is like a character creator, but it creates a race and a political system rather than just one character, correct?
Yeah.
And you get lots of pros and cons, like you said, and lots of ways of doing things.
Yes.
And you can even choose how your species looks, what their name is, all the rest of it.
Yes.
So my question to you is, how does that fit with an established map? How does it work?
I thought it was just they just defaulted you to a place.
So it's procedurally it's basically just the universe is created every time you start a game, and it's different every time.
I believe so.
Yes. Yeah. That's okay.
Why are you asking me if you know the question? If you know the answer?
Because that's the way it was in Galactic Civilizations.
Okay.
So I'm just checking.
What's a civ? They kept calling about civs, but they didn't actually.
That's what Civilization. It's a game type. Sid Meier's Civilization.
Okay.
We can have a look at one of those in the future if you want. It's all about managing your own faction.
Yeah, we could try that at some point. That sounds like fun.
I actually.
Doesn't say that with a strained face at all.
I have Civ 5, but my computer couldn't handle it very well.
I just want to continue with this.
Galactic Civilizations.
So there's hyperlines
great.
which connect all the little planets.
Okay, I have something to interject about that if that's okay.
Of course.
It's hyperspace lines like in Star Wars where they connect the planets and that's how you travel.
I've written in shorthand,
Yeah,
and sometimes I forget
but-
I've written in shorthand.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that's what those are, right?
Yeah.
Because there's two other ways of playing the game. I don't know if this is different for the console version, but in the original version for the PC, so I'm assuming it's not for the console, I'm assuming it's the same for console. You can have warp speed, where you can go wherever you want, hyperspace lanes, where you have to take direct paths, and intergalactic gates, interplanetary, interstellar gates, which you travel through and they basically stargate you to a different part in the universe.
Right, well, what I saw was that they basically explained that there are hyperspace links. Why have I written lines? Hyperspace links between the planets, and that's the only way to travel about.
So that's what he picked.
Yeah.
I think that's quite common. People like to pick that. Because it can be a military advantage. If you just sit your military on the hyperspace routes, they can't get past you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like in your own little system, but you can create outposts outside your system at the beginning.
Yes, you've got spheres of influence, which I think means you can only go so far and you can only have so many planets in your empire.
Yeah. So you also have a set of resources. Resources?
Mm-hmm. There was 4 of them, wasn't there?
There's a few of them. I don't think there's more. I think there's more than 4, isn't there?
That I saw, when he was setting up colonies, he was able to ask them to prioritise between...
Okay, maybe there was
it
4 then.
3, was it? It was money...
Food.
Oh, sorry, research was one of the ones. And minerals. Oh, right, yeah, sorry. No, I see what you're getting at. You're right. I'm talking about pure resources, but there's also things like research capacity and stuff like that, which, so that you could count that as a resource.
They just called them all resources, so I thought that's what they were called.
No, yeah, you could count that as a resource for sure. I must have...
okay.
I've kicked that one out of my brain, so, but that would... Yeah, that would
But
be
it said that you could colonize 5 planets, maximum 5 planets. But it might be possible to increase that number.
Yeah, as your sphere of influence grows, you're able to colonize more planets.
Yeah.
So basically, sphere of influence is, in galactic, in this game, it would be talking to other races. It would be having so much money, having such a large military, being so technologically advanced, blah 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 blah. But the maximum of 5 planets. What happens when you get past that?
I don't think they explained it.
What happens when you get past it?
That's part of the strategy, though, isn't it? You have to choose where your planets are going to be.
Well, yeah, but how can I put it this way? Because they did explain it, and I'm sure I'm just asking it in a weird way. How do you inhabit 40% of the habitable worlds if you're only able to inhabit 5?
Well, don't you have to ask other planets to join your...
But then you'd have more than 5.
I don't know then.
Well, 5 planets is also the maximum you can directly control yourself.
Oh, right, so you send off like...
Governors.
Thank you.
Governors control sectors of space for you.
Yeah, and that you can kind of just leave them to sort of monitor themselves.
And that's when you say, give me a mixture of resources or, food, money, minerals.
But they also said that it's possible that they could break away. They not experienced it, but it's possible that they could.
Because they're not under direct control, so they can, you need governors that are loyal, and because they're slightly different culture, they begin to become different, and they may want a different form of political system. They may want a hegemony or a dictatorship as opposed to a representative democracy. So it causes the culture to become different.
Mm-hmm. That rain is very loud. To me, anyway. It might not pick up on the mic.
It is very loud, but we'll just continue anyway, because we can't stop the rain. And if you're out in a desert with a horse with no name, you'd want some.
So, flagged.
I don't think saying
Copyright.
the lyrics is going to be a problem.
Copyright. You're able to build ships to create your fleets and to create your army type of thing.
Yeah, but you can also build ships for research purposes, for construction. Yeah,
and if you want to go like travel along the
hyperspace
lanes. I'm never going to get that right, am I?
No.
Hyperspace lanes.
I suggest you pick warp to make it similar to Star Trek Online.
It's possible to lose researchers when you're sending them out there to research different planets and things like that.
Yeah.
Which is different to the PC game, because I believe in the PC game it just takes the mission, if you will, just takes longer. But this one there's risk factors and you can lose them. It
basically they altered the risk factor so that if you get a bad roll, it basically you could lose the researcher. Whereas, as you said in the console game, the PC version at the minute, it just takes the research longer. Yeah. It's all to do with the sort of hidden number rolls and stuff like that.
Yeah. But you can go to war with different civilizations, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like wipe them out or make them surrender to yourself.
Yeah, you can also make them...
vassals.
Yeah, you can go and ask to be somebody else's vassal.
Yeah,
That's really weird.
Which is when you realise you're losing the game.
Yeah, but how does that work? I mean, are you still in control, or is that your way of just ending the game?
I think it is.
I'd like to see that. Just go 10 minutes into a game and ask to become the first person you meet's vassal.
Because the hyperspace lanes can get overtaken by other civilizations. They can close their borders to you. And the only way to get past them is to sort of go to war with them.
Yeah, if you go for the hyperspace route, as I said, they can, if you don't have military access, they can just park their ships.
Yeah.
If their sphere of influence surrounds a set of your planets, you're stuck.
But you also need to check the battle points. I can't remember what that was the actual word that they used, but yeah, because some people have over 5,000 and you need to check that to see how many points you have compared to them, but they could just wipe you out.
Aye.
And you have to strategize where you're going to be going.
Mm-hmm. So there's 2 forms of the battle points, which is that each of your military assets has a certain number of points for doing of the fighting. So if you've got one fleet fighting another fleet, it'll have a number in the middle. So there was one point where the person playing the game, it was Vinny from Giant Bomb, he had a fleet of, 1.3, fighting a fleet of 6. And he got absolutely annihilated. He got wiped out.
Yeah, well, the battle sequences actually look pretty cool.
Yeah, they look pretty cool. And you can zoom right in. You can see them scratching their beards and picking their noses. It's pretty cool. But what really...
Whatever floats your boat.
He also ordered the bombardment of a planet.
Yes.
So they were just bombing an inhabited planet from space. And he just, all right, we're not going to look at that. And he just zoomed out and looked somewhere else because it was a massive war crime. But... there's also a second number, which is that when you're declaring war, to end the war, you set out like a list of what you would like.
Demands.
Well, they're not quite demands, they're objectives. And you need to have so many military points or war points to be able to actually... So if you've got a tiny fleet, you can't declare war with the biggest guys and expect to be allowed to win their entire empire.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it doesn't make sense. You wouldn't be able to hold it. And that's really, you're only allowed to set out so many objectives. But you can call in allies and then select objectives for them. So if you have enough allies, you can declare war on the biggest empire and you just split it up between you.
Yeah.
But that makes sense. So I like that.
Mm-hmm. That's all I really have to say on that.
Do you not have any more notes to read?
I've already read through all of them before.
So 4X. It's a 4X style game. Do you know what that means?
No.
4X is essentially 4 ways to win. So in a typical Civ game, it would be some combination of diplomatic, scientific, economic, domination by military, and other versions like religious sometimes are involved, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And that's really... I mean, if you were to look at the world at one point or another, so if you were to say who's won the military campaign in the world, it would be America, because they've got that enormous military for no real reason. But if you were to look at faith-based, you'd probably have to go with Catholicism, because it has its own city-state. And if you were to go with... economics, you'd probably have to go with Norway, because they're the richest country on earth per capita and they're the only ones with no debt and no deficit. So it's sort of, that's how you would apply the 4X rules to the world.
Mm-hmm.
So you can play the game to win in your own way, but most people just try and annihilate everything because it is the most fun.
Okay then.
It
looks cool. It looks like a cool game if you're into strategy games like that. I think it'd be too above my head. That kind of game.
It goes really in depth. Paradox games, like they had Crusader Kings 2, go really, really in depth. You know, you hire doctors to research things, like scientists to research things, and governors, and they die of old age, and you've got to replace them.
Yeah. It
goes really in depth into the minutiae of it, and that's what I absolutely love about Paradox games. But what really... There's a federation option where you can get loads of people to join your federation, which is very Star Trek-y. So you can be nice and peaceful and just get all the other nations to join your federation, and that's a way of winning.
Right.
But as you mentioned that there are mods coming.
Yes.
Well, what do you think I immediately thought of when I heard that you can make a federation?
Star Trek.
And what did I hear about 2 seconds after I thought of that?
One of the mods is going to be Star Trek?
One of the mods for PC is. And Paradox has said that they're going to bring mod support to the console, so I might get to play as like the president.
I wish you could see him. I wish you could see how happy Tommy is.
Yeah, like the council, as it were, of the Federation. And also the Federation couldn't be run quite the same way with governors and stuff like that. That's not quite how it works. I'd have to change some of the political stuff. Oh, you're so happy. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So happy.
Yeah.
So happy. Shall we move on to Xanos?
Yes, we'll move on to the news.
Xanos!
Actually, no, we won't. We'll go back quickly and say, you said it might be over your head, right?
Yes.
Would you still play it?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Here's another thing. I don't know if it would be PC or console, because I don't know how the multiplayer works in the console version. But would you play a multiplayer game where we were in the same universe?
See, I would, but I don't think you would want me in it, because I would just destroy everything. I would not know
Well,
how to
that's
play
fine
it.
then. We can just play against each other. You can be the evil
And then I
like,
die.
Borg, and I can be the Federation.
I'm not going to be a Borg.
Well, you would be if you were just trying to wipe everything
I
out.
don't want to be a Borg.
Species 8472?
I don't know what that is.
8672?
I don't. How many does move on to the news?
8472, 867, 848.
So the first story we have is on Anthem.
Undine.
So something's happened with Anthem. And it's mainly affecting PS4s.
So I'll read this one out then if you would like. I'm going to get Solaris at some point.
One person made a comment on an Anthem forum that their PS4 now no longer turns on because of Anthem, and having spoken to Sony for hours, they couldn't do anything.
Sony couldn't do anything to
Yeah.
fix the problem. Kotaku reported that particular PS4 in question was a Call of Duty World War II limited edition console that came out 18 months prior to this incident, so therefore it's unlikely to be an issue with the console. They say that other players have stated that their consoles have also been affected similarly with one more broken console, so it's not limited.
Sony are now giving refunds for PS4 versions of Anthem. However, they are not giving these refunds out evenly, and as some some individuals are experiencing difficulty getting their refunds, even though they would risk a broken console if they played it.
Yeah, so I've seen 3 confirmed cases, and it's something to do with their it's a suggestion. It's something to do with a digital shop policy for returns, that you can only exercise one free return, and once you have, there's no leeway given for you getting another return. So these people are stuck because the game they've bought is not just doesn't work, but it's dangerous. Because we're talking about broken consoles. They can't play it, but they're not being told they can't return it. And this is where, obviously, the law steps in and says to Sony, we don't care what your policy on returns is, you're giving them back their money. You can take it up with BioWare and EA if you don't like it.
But this issue has been picking up track in the last few days, because more and more people are starting to notice this issue and are experiencing this severe issue.
The media is starting to notice it.
Yeah.
The BBC report that you saw, but the a post on the forum from over a week ago detailed this issue, and at last count for me had 137 people indicating that they had the exact same problem. There's a separate post that had 49 people saying they had the same problem.
Yeah.
So this has been there for a while. Brad Shoemaker from Giant Bomb, his console turned off when he was playing PS4, so moved to the Xbox One. He stopped playing it. And he pointed out that this problem doesn't just endanger the health of the PS4 console. His PS4 still worked, but this is why he stopped playing. But an unsafe shutdown can endanger cloud saves too.
Yeah.
Because the console is backing up the cloud saves, especially when you're turning it off, and if it shuts down just like that, it won't do it properly.
No.
So as a result, it endangers the integrity. They could become corrupted and therefore unusable, and that's for like all your save games. That's why he stopped playing it. For Xbox One players, you aren't quite safe because there have been reports of serious issues also, although maybe not console death by this point.
I'll definitely be deleting it as soon as I get home today.
The beta.
Can I delete it, or because I only ever see the option to uninstall?
Uninstall. Just uninstall's the same thing. You might need, just uninstall.
Okay.
I think this is ridiculous. Obviously, these people should get refunds if it's too dangerous for them to play the game.
Of course, yeah. But does this mean that... sorry.
I feel a wee bit sorry that Sony are getting it for this, because it's clearly nothing to do with Sony.
Yeah.
It's to do with the game. It's obviously partly to do with PlayStation, but this doesn't happen when you plug in GTA or something, so...
No.
It should definitely
Does
be...
this mean the people that... Who is it that makes Anthem again?
EA and BioWare.
Would that mean that they would have to, if it gets even worse than this, possibly have to buy these people new consoles?
If you can show a link between them, then yes.
That's going to be quite a bit of money.
Well...
Probably not to them, but it is in reality, it's quite a bit of money.
A fix has been released. There's some notes on a fix that you can perform to get it to start working again. But
The heavens are not happy with that.
yeah, but that's still... So that might stop them having to pay out. But I think anybody who trades in the game to the Sony shop, right? I think Sony should still get their cut.
It's not Sony's problem.
Exactly. I think Sony should give a refund, but then say to BioWare, you're giving us our cut back because this is your fault.
Yeah.
I don't think Sony should be taking the hit for this, although maybe there's something in Sony's technology, but then
they're saying that possibly Xbox One players are also going to be affected by this.
And there's also the fact
and that's Microsoft.
That EA, BioWare, will have had PS4 sitting there to test the game on. You know?
Yeah.
They should have figured out this was a problem. And for me, do you remember, I've said this before when it comes to news on Anthem, I might have even said it last week. Do you remember when we originally heard of Anthem and we were speaking about it way back when we were going through our E3 2018 stuff?
Yes.
And I said I'd be surprised if I saw that game before 2020.
And surprises.
Hello?
Yeah.
The game is killing consoles. That means it's out too early.
Has there actually been any reports that a console has not switched back on, has not worked correctly? Like, but by work correctly, I mean like it's just not going to switch on.
Yeah, 3 reports there. That
3 reports. Okay, sorry.
I don't know if the fix that was released worked for all of them.
Right.
We'll probably find out in the coming week. But
that's a scary thing to happen.
Yeah.
Like a really scary thing to happen. Because imagine, like, here's the thing. Imagine if doesn't matter what age you are. Imagine if you've been saving up and saving up and saving up for PS4, and then you buy one, and then this nonsense happens.
Yeah. It's also just a simple fact that imagine playing games is your stress relief.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be fixed for weeks. They're not going to send you out a new console for quite a long time. They're going to be, to use a phrase that I used when I was at school and still do, they're going to be wide about it. They're not going to be sound. And so if that's your way of like stress relief, that's the way you relax, you'd go for a couple of weeks without being able to play a game.
Read a book.
Well, no, but if that's their way,
I know.
they're going to be crawling the wall. They're going to be like, you're going to come in, they're going to be dangling from the lamp like a baby in Train Spotting.
I honestly wouldn't know what you would do if you didn't have your games, like, to relax.
I've got a Vita.
I know, but imagine if you didn't have any games whatsoever.
I've got packs of cards in my room. I picked out a book I'm going to start reading.
You can role play in your room.
I've started reading Raising Steam, the
LARPing.
Discworld by Terry Pratchett. It was one of the later ones that he wrote. And I'm so upset there's not going to be more of those, by the way. And I've started reading it twice and never finished it. I think it's probably partly to do with the fact that the characters in it aren't going to have any subsequent stories to them. Yeah. But anyway.
I've tried reading Lord of the Rings I don't know how many times, and I've only ever gotten to the point where they've gotten to... I always say the name wrong. Rivendell. Thank you for mouth. Have I still said it wrong?
It's not Rivendell, it's Rivendell.
Rivendell. I can't... for a long time I was saying Riverdale.
Rivendell?
I'm saying Riverdale.
It's not Rivendell, is it? It's Rivendell. It's Rivendell. But you were close.
Rivendell?
It's Rivendell. You fixed half of your previous mistake. So
yes.
You're getting there. So by 2042 you'll be able to say
I've only ever got to the part where they've like gotten there and they're like sitting down to have something to eat.
It takes like 100 pages for them to get out of the Shire.
I know.
Because they're so busy eating eggs.
See, I watched the movies before I even ever attempted... No, that's a lie. That is a lie. My dad tried to read it to us when we were little. But literally, it was just so over our heads. Whatever. He was like, what's a hobbit? I don't understand.
How did you follow Harry Potter then?
Well, we were a bit older when we read Harry Potter.
Okay.
We were like about 3... I was about 3 years older when we started to read Harry Potter, so... But Lord of the Rings, also how it's written, is quite...
It's quite pondering, it's quite...
Yeah.
It's sort of... Brian and Dad had a conversation once about the James Bond books, and they said that there's 60% scrambled eggs or fried eggs. He talks about him eating eggs all the time. And that's basically what the book is, just about him writing about his love for eggs, and then some spying happens.
Yeah, but I never realised just how long it is. Like, in the movies, it seems like days since, like, Gandalf leaves Frodo there alone with that ring, and then he comes back, and...
Aye.
But it's years. It's
Yeah,
literally...
It's like
decades.
Yeah. Which means...
I always thought Frodo was, like, about 18, but he's, like, about...
He's
in
50.
his 50s, yeah.
He's 50. But here's the thing. He has the ring... And it's probably why he looks so young, because he owns that ring. But that means then that Bilbo Baggins is like 130 or something.
He's 100. He's 111.
Yeah, when he leaves.
Oh yeah. Oh
so
yeah, that's right.
Gandalf comes back a couple of decades later, he's got to be 130.
Yeah.
So...
100. How does he have 111th birthday?
No, 11th.
11th.
I thought that was a great way of saying it. I'd like to get to an 11th birthday and be able to stand up and say that. I made compound lungs. We'll move on to the next story after I say EA, come on. That's all I've got to say about this. You're killing people's consoles. How does that work How does that work? We need to sell more games. How? We wiped out all the consoles.
Maybe that's why they were letting people go, because they knew that they would have to... Were they not letting people go? Am I getting confused with
Activision Blizzard let
Activision.
people.
I apologise.
I think EA are... Oh, no, they did. EA did in like Australia and stuff.
Maybe that's why, because they were anticipating this. That's a joke. That is a joke.
Another story relating to Anthem recently has been that it has a terrible loot drop system, which only gets worse as you level up towards the level cap.
It's a looter shooter that doesn't know how to program a good loot system.
Yeah, it's a looter shooter that can't program loot. I think I was being kind by saying it needed another year in development. They looter shooters aren't new anymore. How could you make this mistake?
I like the fact you're looking at me like I know what that is.
It's ridiculous. It's basically what's happening is that the loot is imbalanced. Most of what you get is common and uncommon, and that might make sense, but as you level up, you should get more and more rares and very rares and all the rest of it, right?
Yeah.
You should also get some of those at the early levels. It should happen every now and again, but it doesn't. It's like when you're like level 5, you only ever see common. That's not how it works. That's not common loot. That's level 5 loot. You've not done it right. And also, we played the game. Does it really feel that different to use different guns? Like, the switching between the assault rifle and the light machine gun, it's really the same thing. It doesn't feel different. Destiny has these massively different weapons that all behave differently.
Yeah.
This just doesn't. It's more like pull the boom boom trigger and things will happen. It's nothing to do with the gun. Here, this little thing, put that in your weapon slot and you'll do slightly more damage when you pull the boom boom trigger. And then you just pull the trigger, a noise happens and things fall over.
Mm-hmm.
Really, the gun is immaterial to the process. It doesn't feel like it's even there.
There have been a lot of conversations recently about the downgrade system that Anthem went through between release and its original E3 showing. I have moved on.
Yes, you clearly have. Similar things have happened for other games, the most notable being No Man's Sky. At what point does this become false advertising, and have we already passed this point? Well, I think that this really links the two previous stories to everything else we said about Anthem, is that it's not finished, and they've released it early. And if you look at the original E3 footage to the game that is out, they're just the downgrade is across the board, and it's consistent and it's definitely present. Going from the loot mechanics not working properly to the game can't properly function without killing your PlayStation, to these striders don't move anywhere, you can't start missions from in them, the world is significantly smaller than it was demonstrated to be, there is no random environmental interaction like there was before. The spawning of the enemies is just like here. It's sort of like if you can imagine putting a cafeteria tray underneath a nozzle that just goes to spurt out some food, and then you move on. That's where the enemies spawn in.
That feels like secondary school. That does.
Yeah, that's the way that the spawning works in the game. The number of people in Fort Tarsis is massively reduced. They're not walking about talking to each other. They're just standing there mumbling, and the voice is oh no, oh, but the face is just staring glassily on like nothing's happening.
Yeah, it's very disconcerting. Not disconcerting. It's almost kind of like disturbing how people talk in that. It's like it's not comfortable.
And the eyes are really it's just odd. Not right at all. And that's really, it links all these stories together that it just wasn't ready for release.
It just feels like you're talking to robots.
Yeah. So, do you know the No Man's Sky equivalent comparison that I used in that? No Man's Sky when they originally made it, it stated that it was going to have all these amazing things in it that you could do, which weren't there. But they never said that to anybody before release.
Right.
It's the stereotypical example of, they said things were going to be there and then took them out without telling anyone. And I think they actually got sued by some people to get refunds. Because
it's false advertisement.
So at what point...
we're so close to saying the same thing there. You went advertising, I went advertisement.
No, I said false advertisement.
I thought you said false advertising. I ruined it!
Well, maybe I did, in which case somebody ruined it.
You.
But at what point... Because they have to be able to adapt the game at E3, after E3 showings, after all that jazz, but at what point does it become false advertising? Now, obviously, No Man's Sky crossed that point. And other games have been accused of it, like Watch Dogs and all the rest of it as well. Wait. But, what about for Anthem? Has it crossed that line? Has it become false advertising? Where is the line for false advertising, and at what point do you cross it? And has Anthem done so?
I can't remember. I would have to go back and look through the E3
Well, it was the things I just stated to you, like the Striders walking around, being able to start missions from the Striders. The world is significantly different. It's a lot smaller. It has a lot less happening in it. Things like the guns are terrible and the combat doesn't feel right. That's not an E3 issue. But the Striders don't move. The world looks worse. Fort Tarsis is rubbish. It's rubbish. And has none of the normal stuff happening that it has in the E3 release stuff, where people are wandering around talking to each other. They're just sort of standing there looking at each other. It's that those are objective differences, not something that you couldn't tell. These are things that they've tried to say are there, and then they aren't. So at what point do they become false? I mean, No Man's Sky is obvious. They said stuff was in it that wasn't, so that's not false advertising. But what about the rest? At what point do you cross that line? Where is the line?
I think it's when you promise things and then don't deliver upon it, and you don't explain as to why you've not delivered upon it before people have voted.
That's what I would say, is that I think that it's...
I mean, it's like... I don't know, it's like saying... I'm trying to think of something that is like saying... It's like saying, buy this ice cream, it's 5 different flavours, and you buy it and it's just vanilla, without them telling you why it's not those 5 flavours.
Why is customer relations? For me, it's just... You tell them what is different about the E3 demo, and you'd say it in plain terms. So you don't say, we've rebalanced the economy. You say, we've massively increased the price of everything by 200%.
Yeah.
You tell them what is different so they know what they're buying. For me, there's going to be changes as the game goes through development.
Of course, yeah, because you'll discover things you weren't able to do and some things you were.
Yeah, but that's the point, is that Anthem isn't like that. It's not some things have gone down and some have gone up. It's all gone down, and they've not said that. So I would say that they may even have already crossed that line, because they didn't tell people that some changes had been made. There is one difference though.
What is that?
They released a demo.
Ah, right, so people could at least get a taste of what it was.
I don't think that's good enough. No. I think they should have had to say it, but they did release a free open demo for people to play. If the demo was something you could play whenever you wanted and say, I quite like that, but that doesn't work because it's an online game, so they couldn't have done that. But if it was, then you could say, well, you should have played the demo. But they should still have to come out and say, this is what's different.
What happens if you were, say, away during the demo? Like you were somewhere
Exactly, that's
without
why I'm saying,
internet connection.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying they should have to come out and say, this is what's different.
Yeah.
This is what we showed. This is the changes that have been made. And then for customer relations reasons, they can say why. But that's what they should have to do, because I don't see how changing that much to the game isn't... I mean, they're really close, you know?
Yes.
Because, I mean, if you buy 500 grams of ice cream and only get 300, you can take that back and get it replaced.
Yes.
So even then, you could argue if it's all been downgraded, you've bought something that's less than that was advertised. It's an interesting line.
I once did an online shop thing for like groceries.
Mm-hmm.
And they can substitute it if they don't have it. But I ordered a whole chicken and they substitute 2 chicken breasts.
Yeah, that's not right.
I said, nope, give me my money back.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
But it's like, great, now I have to think of something else for dinner. But that kind of just reminds me of it. Like, because the price equivalent was the same. Not the actual product.
Ah, right.
That's not how it works.
No. Yeah. No, I think we actually agree on this, that the difference is that they should just have to say what they've changed. Mm-hmm. And then it's fine, because they've stated it.
Well, it's like when you watch adverts for games online, for games on television, and underneath they put not actual gameplay footage.
They've told you.
Yes. Anyway.
I don't like that. I don't like when they use not gameplay footage, but I can understand it.
Yeah.
I can understand it. I remember sitting in the living room, right? I was eating curries with my dad or something, and we were watching something. It might have been a Star Trek episode, one of the few times he accepted watching it. And then this advert for Assassin's Creed Revelations came on. Mm-hmm. Or I might have been eating one myself.
And anyway.
They came back, Mum and Dad, and I was sitting watching it, and it came on. And they were looking at it like, what is this? Because they'd never seen a video game advert on TV before. They somehow had missed them all, right? They'd never sat and watched one. I was like, that's a video game advert on TV. It was sort of like an awakening for them of, oh, this is a big thing.
Yeah.
You know, to have a video game advert, that means video games are pretty big. They must think they're going to make a lot of money off of this if they're going to put a TV advert out. What I remember from that was that it was not gameplay footage. And that's fine, because it was a cinematic trailer.
Yeah.
But it's when they try and they have gameplay, but they sort of pre-render it. So they've basically faked it. I don't like that.
No.
And I can understand older games, or games back in the past, going for cinematics, mm-hmm. because they didn't look quite as good.
Yeah. Whereas
nowadays they look very good.
But it's even like, I honestly have no idea if underneath they've written not actual gameplay footage, but I've been watching I've seen trailers for Anthem that looks different to what we played. Mm-hmm. But I do not know if they put underneath not actual gameplay footage.
It depends on the term gameplay, because if that footage is technically in the game, even if it's pre-rendered, they might get away. It's a cutscene, so you could argue it's not gameplay, but they might get away with it. No, but they might get away with putting it in as gameplay if it's in the game, even if it's pre-rendered. Okay. It depends. I'm not sure on the specifications.
It's actually been on YouTube. It's been playing before I watch videos.
Mm-hmm. Can you describe the advert?
It's basically somebody walking up to sort of that platform and 4 different
I have
javelins.
Yeah, I have seen it. It's basically this. It looks very similar to the E3 footage.
Right.
There's obviously structural changes because the actual map looks different now, so they've got to put that in. But it's pre-rendered. That's why it looks nothing like it.
Right. Okay.
If it does look nothing like it, and therefore it will probably have somewhere not gameplay footage.
Okay.
I'll pay attention next time I see it.
So will I, just to double check.
Because remember, with consoles being as powerful as they are, it could be. It could be gameplay. You know what? It's not gameplay footage, is it? Because it's all 4 people. So it can't be. Because it's four javelins that all turn around.
Yes.
So it can't be gameplay footage.
No.
So it might look, that maybe they could get it to look as good, but I doubt very much that they could
So
actually
it's
do
an
that.
ad- it's
So
just
it
an advert.
must be,
Just an advert.
well, it must be not gameplay footage.
Yeah.
It must say that.
Okay. Chris Avellone was involved in the development of Star Wars: The Fallen Order. He is also involved in a Vampire the Masquerade game. In a Vampire the Masquerade
Do you want me
game.
to read this one? Because you
Is
said...
there more than one Vampire Masquerade game?
Well,
So I don't understand that sentence.
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is the RPG from the mid to early 2000s, 2004 I think.
Okay.
That people absolutely love, and there's a... I don't know if this is suggestion or true that he's working on this, but people are really looking forward to the potential of another Vampire the Masquerade game.
What's it about? So it's a RPG, did you say?
Yes, it's all about... It's like a sort of...
That sounds like a fun game.
Vampires are real in this. I don't know what the story is, thank God. So when I finally get to play it, it will be enjoyable.
I just now got the Masquerade song from Phantom of the Opera stuck in my head.
So can we have that dog back in the rain, please? So it's...
They were keeping me sane.
I think the constant noise allows you to not have music floating around inside your head.
It's just when I saw the word masquerade, that's why.
So I don't know what the story is, but you create your own character. So you can choose from like 6 races of vampire, and you can level up your own character. You go through this story doing missions and side missions for people.
What are the races of vampire?
Well, it basically ranges from really attractive, really strong, really powerful.
So I'm going to guess these are
thing.
like nobility vampires.
Kind of, but there's one race at the bottom which is basically just like vampire animal human things.
Yeah.
Where you walk around so hunched over, you're like sort of like nearly Gollum on all fours, and they can't blend in with humans because they've got like this really horrific vampire face at all times.
Right.
Like I could just suddenly grow slightly longer canines and I'm a vampire. These guys just like massive big pointy ears and that sort of jazz. And so the best way of getting them around town, as it were, is to go through the sewers feeding on rats.
Right. This kind of reminds me of the idea of different types of vampires kind of reminds me of Vampire Knight, because I think there was 3 levels of vampire in that, which was purebloods, then nobility, and then there was level E's, which is basically humans that have been like turned into vampires, but they will eventually degenerate into like bloodlusting beasts.
What is Vampire Knight?
It's a manga.
Right. Well, the interesting thing...
That's just what it reminded me of.
The interesting thing about the vampire that I was talking about with is that in the game, they aren't allowed to do this, but the other is that when you level up, you can put your points into appearance, and then you can...
okay, that's cool.
Sweet talk your way through the game, but it's not really sweet talk, it's flirting with everybody. So you can flirt your way through the game.
That's funny.
Yeah, but they can't do it because they look hideous. They're not allowed to put any points into appearance.
That's interesting.
Yeah. That was really good.
That sounds like a fun game.
Yeah.
Have you played them?
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, no.
Oh,
I want
right.
to, but I haven't played it. So Chris Avellone, as Abigail said, wasn't involved in the development of Star Wars: The Fallen Order. That's really where this story starts and ends. Now, to tell you who Chris Avellone is, and why you should be excited for these 2 games that we've mentioned, he was involved in developing at Obsidian.
All right.
So that includes... Any idea what games that may include?
KOTOR.
2. KOTOR 2.
KOTOR 2. Whenever Tommy says something exciting, guess who's... It's always KOTOR.
Well, he... KOTOR 1 is like light v dark.
Yeah.
Light side v dark side. In KOTOR 2, he introduced the concept of grey, basically.
Oh, right.
And... Hold on, my eye's a bit sore. Right. And he also was involved in Fallout New Vegas.
Right.
Now, Fallout New Vegas is my favourite Fallout game so far.
Yes.
It has the best story. I really enjoy playing it. And for both Fallout New Vegas and KOTOR 2, the Sith Lords, the one thing that those games really do very, very well is take the gameplay mechanics that worked in the first game, keep them, and take the ones that didn't work or were missing something or could do with a little bit of improvement and apply that. And they also have fantastic stories. And he's a narrative writer. That's what he is. He's hired as a writer.
Right.
So while those games have really great game mechanics that he wouldn't have been involved in, he wrote really good stories, and that's a good basis for a good narrative game. But Respawn Entertainment are the ones that are making this game, Respawn, and I think they're called Entertainment, or let's just say Respawn, and they made the original Titanfall games, Titanfall 2 as well, which had a really great story. And so I think they're the sort of company we can trust to have good gameplay mechanics in their game.
Mm-hmm.
So that leads to a good sort of mix, just like Obsidian was with Avalon. This could be as well. And the only downside is that EA owns Respawn.
Right.
But this game's been in development since 2014 and they were only bought in 2017. So hopefully they haven't been able to manipulate it and fiddle with it too much.
Right, okay. Interesting. VV, interesting.
So I wanted to mention that, but I also think he deserves more credit, because I found out while reading this story that he was the one who was involved in writing those narratives, and they're so fantastic, he deserves more credit for it. So I'm really excited. I'm actually excited for the Fallen Order now, because of the possibility that it's got a great story in it.
Mm-hmm. So this year, EA are skipping the E3 press conference and replacing it with multiple live stream events. They're also doing love pay events for gamers to get hands.
Okay. Oh, that's not... So I typed this out, and it only sort of flags up spelling mistakes. So that's supposed to say... Because this is a story about... this is a story about E3 press conferences, and it's... they're skipping their E3 press conference and they're replacing it with multiple live streams, right? They're also doing live play events for gamers to get hands on. But I've said they're doing love play events for gamers to get hands on. Oh no, oh no, oh no.
So apparently Sony and Nintendo are also skipping the conference.
Yeah, Sony and Nintendo are also skipping the conference, but I believe that they've done that in the past several times.
No love play events for them.
Yeah, lots of love play events. That's what they replaced the press conference with, love play events. So Sony, I think, are skipping this as the first year, and Nintendo skipped for like the past 4 or 5 or something. Or Sony skipped last year as well. Sorry.
So who's going to be there if like Sony, Nintendo...
Well, they're there. They're at E3. They're just not doing a press conference.
Right. Okay.
There's been some indication that this means that E3 sort of lost its purpose as a way of revealing what's happening. But I don't think that's the case. I think that it's just that the style of reveals that happen at E3 are no longer the fashion. Similar to... game releases used to come along with big parties that presses would be invited to, and they'd be fed, they'd be given like huge amounts of food and alcohol and stuff like that. It'd be a party to celebrate a game release. That doesn't happen anymore. And I think that just means that the style of presentation at E3 is out of date now. I don't think E3 itself has lost its purpose. I just think it needs to be reworked.
It just needs to have like a bit of a facelift.
Well, no, not E3. Just the companies that do stuff there have to think about what they're going to do. Right. That's all. And this the point I'm about to make here actually touches on that, which is that it is a bit of a shame because the EA press conference was always a highlight because of how bad it was. See a terrible E3 press conference. is so much fun to watch. It's so much fun to watch a terrible E3 press conference. Because that's the bit where they're up on stage talking about stuff.
Yeah.
And you just end up with like cameras going everywhere and people like in the crowd talking to other people. It just feels like they don't know what they're doing, like it's not been put together professionally. Like if you saw a professional release on that stage, it would be incredible. But they don't do it. They just do, like, let's try and be hip and young and cool. Like,
No.
No, you're E3, you're EA.
Yeah.
You're Sony, you're Nintendo, you're probably run by somebody who's like 55. You're not hip and cool. If you're coming out to be hip and cool, you've already failed at hip and cool. And if you're using the phrases hip and cool, you've probably failed as well. So I don't...
I'm well hip. I'm
Yeah.
down with the kids.
Did you see my corpse? It was dabbing. It doesn't really...
I thought that was the first. I was like, what? A corpse?
Yeah. I can't go over that. I don't know how I must have been so tired.
No,
when
I thought
wrote
you meant
that.
like that was. I was like, I don't ever remember people like ironically using that phrase before.
Yeah, but
Corpse is
that's
dabbing.
where we started. My corpse is dabbing. That's how much fun I'm having.
Down
My
with the
corpse is
kids.
dabbing.
Down with the kids.
But I can't believe I must have been
But,
so tired when I typed out they're doing love play events for gamers to get hands on. It just sounds like a
Sounds like not a.
E3's going to need to see passport ID before you're allowed in this year. Oh man. Oh right, that's going to be the funniest thing I've accidentally typed out in my life. Because it fits in so nicely with the hands-on later on.
Should we leave that? Should we leave it at that and leave on a high note there? A good laughing note.
Yeah, we'll leave that.
Well, thank you guys for listening again.
We very much enjoyed this ShadowCast. We hope you did too.
Yes, if you'd like to like this video and subscribe to our channel, that'd be fantastic. Leave a little comment. That'd be brilliant.
You can ask us anything you want, or you can just tell us what you're thinking.
Yeah.
You can also follow
Ponder
us,
the questions of the universe. The answer is 42.
and you can discuss what a love play event is.
Maybe not. Maybe let's not do that.
A love play event. Is a love play event a good thing? Like it would leave your corpse dabbing, or...
If you would like to contact us via email, our email address is overshadow@shadowcast@gmail.com.
Overshadow.shadowcast@gmail.com.
That's what I said.
And Facebook is...
Overshadow.shadowcast.
It's at overshadow.shadowcast.
At overshadow.shadowcast. No,
That's
I used to
Facebook,
know
yeah.
it. I used to know it.
So I'm just going to quickly run through that again. Facebook is at overshadow.shadowcast. And Gmail is overshadow.shadowcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
You can also click the bell icon for notifications of new videos that come up.
Spoiler, Wednesdays.
That's not a spoiler. It's not a spoiler.
Wednesdays.
Spoiler, it's raining.
Spoiler, it's Scotland.
Spoiler, the love play events aren't real. My corpse has now stopped dabbing because it's so upset.
And I will stop this recording, so goodbye,
Yes,
everybody.
right. See ya.